What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Got another deck profile here for you guys. I know I've just been kind of pumping these out lately. I've been really trying to get as many videos out as I can. It's really hard to get gameplay out right now though, just because my friends and I's schedules are just so conflicting at the moment and they live pretty far from me. But I'm working on getting gameplay videos out as soon as possible with these decks that I've been doing profiles on. So as soon as we can get those out, I promise you I'll upload them. So let's go ahead and get into this deck profile. This is going to be Gotenks U6. I actually tested this deck already at my locals, and I came in top 8. I came in top 8. I think there was like 15-ish people there, 15 to 20 people there. I didn't count exactly how many, but I got 7th place, and the only 2 matches I lost to with this deck were Reboot Gohan, which was really no fault of the deck. I mean, we just kind of out-aggroed. He just out-aggroed me. I was able to get him down to 2 life on my turn 2, and he was just able to beat me after that. So, because neither one of us running negates. And then the other match I lost to was to the Sin Shenron. He just had a lot of blockers on board. It was kind of hard to get over those big blockers. So it really just came down to that. It was really no fault of the deck. The matches I won against VJX, I won against the new baby deck, and then I won against Beerus Ramp. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. If you guys don't know, this is the Gotenks leader from set 10. Auto, when you swing, you can take a life, draw a card. You don't have to take a life to draw a card, but it really helps you self-awaken. And then once per turn, if your opponent activates an extra card on either player's turn, you draw 1. Which is really nice in this deck just because you're going to be swinging a lot. So they're probably going to use a negate every once in a while. So you'll be able to draw an extra card on your turn. And then you awaken at 4 or less, untap 2. On the back, when your card attacks, draw 1. Same effect whenever this card, or whenever your opponent uses an extra card on either player's turn, you draw 1. So really, really nice. And then his other effect doesn't really apply to this deck. We're not running any Union Fusions, but if it does, if you do a Union Fusion, this card gains 5k crit. So really, really strong leader, really good, just generic leader. I tried this deck with the Kaba leader as well. I tried running Kaba, but this leader is just way more versatile because you're able to use more cards, and Kaba's really restrictive. And in this meta, it really just doesn't work. So let's go ahead and get into the U6 package. Everybody should know what this is by now. These are my Khalifas I'm running. I got the 4 1-drop Khalifas, top 5 for any Universe 6 card. So really, really good searcher, really helps search the deck out. And then we're playing 2 of the Troublemakers. Whenever you play this card, you can take a life, and then you can choose one of your opponent's energy and tap it. So really, really strong, because when she's on the board, she taps an energy, and then you can evolve into the other Khalifa to then tap another energy. So very, very strong combo. This is your bread and butter of the deck. Khalifa is the one you want to see the most because, you know, she's 20 double and she applies the most pressure. So in your opening hand, honestly, I really want to see a 1-drop Khalifa in my hand, so I can hopefully get into Khalifa on my turn 2. This deck is very, very aggro. Like a frequent thing that I'm able to do is I charge multicolored pass, and then on my second turn, I'm able to charge, swing with lead, combo, arrival the Champa Beerus, arrival the Khalifa, and then now I got a 20 double strike on my turn 2, and your opponent's tapped out. So it's really, really strong combo there. The next, we're playing the Kale. We're only playing 3 Kales, just because she's not as good as Khalifa, and so you don't really want to max out on her. It saves you some space if you're not maxing out on her. This Kale's ability is that she grabs any 3 or more Universe 6 from your drop area to your hand. So pretty good recursion. She's able to get cards back to your hand from your drop area. Really good. And then obviously we're playing the 3 Kale Awakened Sister. She's 20 crit, which is still good. We are running Champa double strikes in this deck just to give her that double crit, which is nice. But you know, people aren't really afraid of her as much because she's just 20 crit. She does bounce a card back to your opponent's hand, ignoring doesn't ignore barrier. She negates their skills, which is strong. I was able to do that in the Sin Shenron matchup. I was able to bounce back his 30k Shenron blocker just because it was the biggest blocker on the board at the time, besides the secret rare. You can't interact with the secret rare. So that was pretty much what I had to do, but it didn't really matter at the end of the day. So next, we're going to be playing just 2 Brilliant Parent Keflas. If you want to cut down another card and play 3 of her, that's fine, but I saw her pretty much every game. And she's definitely a good enough card to play at 3, but at 2, for me at least, I guess my luck is really good. I saw her every game, so I wasn't really worried about it. And then we're going to be playing 4 of the Champa and Vados. This is like the most important card of the deck. You want to see Champa and Vados on your turn 1. You want to have them arrived in as early as possible to try and so that their effect is live, and now all your U6s are free 10Ks. The bread and butter of the deck, really, really strong. For those of you who don't know, Champa and Vados, they also can't be removed from the battle area by skills, because if they are removed from the battle area by skills, all you have to do is drop a card, and then for the first time it happens, you put the card in rest mode, tap your opponent's energy, and then if it happens anytime after that, you can just keep dropping a card to protect them, which is very easy to do, especially because if you have multiple copies of Champa and Vados in your hand, you could just drop the other copies because you're never going to need to use them anymore anyway. So very, very strong. They make this deck go. This is the core of the deck. I wouldn't really mess with the ratios too much just because, like I said, Kale is not as good a card anymore anyways. So keeping her at 3 is probably the best bet. Next, we can get into the extra cards. This deck barely runs any, but there are a few good ones. 3 Planet Vegeta. You know, 1 drop, search any 4 or less Saiyan is pretty much your entire deck. If you're ever bricking on Cauliflas and you need one, or you're bricking on some Keflas and you really want one, this is the reason why I'm not really playing extra copies of Keflas, just because you're technically running 5 copies right now, and then you're technically running, you know, 7 copies of Caulifla with this Planet Vegeta as well, because they're literally searchable from the deck. So very, very strong card. If you want to play 2, that's fine. I did see it a few more times than I wanted to at locals, but I did resolve it pretty much every game. Just to get an extra 10K in my hand, just to get an extra combo piece in my hand. So very, very useful card. I definitely wouldn't recommend not playing Planet Vegeta. Then 4 Sensu Bean. You're playing blue-yellow, you want Sensu Bean. Helps your plays extend, helps you keep going, you know, give that 5K boost to one of your battle cards. Really, really strong. Only 2 negates for playing is Flying Nimbus. You really don't need to negate in this deck. I mean, again, the only matches that I lost were against Gohan, Aggro, and Shenron. And I mean, the Shenron game went pretty long. It went to turn 5, and I just kind of scooped because I didn't have a Nimbus in my hand. I had swung everything I had, and he was about to go into his turn 6 and just revive all his Shenrons, and there was nothing I could do about that to stop that. The goal is to kill your opponent before they get to that point. The goal should be a turn 3 to turn 4 kill, and this is what I did with every other matchup that I had. Against Vejex, there was a turn 3 kill. Against Beerus, it was a turn 3 kill, and against Baby, it was a turn 4 kill. So you really don't need negates. I ended up just charging the Flying Nimbus from pretty much every other matchup. This is a very slept on card in my opinion. 2 Universe 9 Assemble. If you're playing a yellow deck and you want to be able to just do a tap 2, draw 2, and you don't have money for apes, invest in Universe 9 Assemble. It's a really good card. It's only like $6 right now, $5-6 right now. It literally just says activate main / battles. You can do it at any point. Just tap 2, draw 2. And then if you're playing Universe 9 stuff in the deck, you can choose any Universe 9 2 or less and play it. We're not playing any Universe 9 in this deck at all. Not only were those cards, obviously Bergamo's a good card, he's a little expensive. I just didn't feel a need to have him in the deck. Yeah, 20K that can tap 2 energy is nice, but like you really don't need it, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. And then the Basil, he's pretty good, you know, a 19K dual attack for 1 energy. The problem is that your opponent has to have 5 things in rest mode for that effect to activate. And the thing that I found in this deck, because you're trying to kill your opponent so early on turn 3, turn 4, they're not going to have 5 things in rest mode to beat, like they're not going to have 5 things in rest mode in general. So, you know, by the time you get to turn 4, and they're going to have, you know, 3 energy, their leader might be tapped, and they might have 2 more battle cards on the board that are tapped. The likelihood of you just don't need Basil at that point. Like, he's just not necessary. And I'll show you guys why in a moment. But Universe 9 Assemble is a very good card. I had it at 3, but I think 2 is just fine. Just a generic tap 2, draw 2 is just fine. This is the reason why you really don't need those cards, though, is because this Unison is amazing, and I believe he's really slept on. Vegeta, Unison of Fury. If I could play 3, I'm thinking about playing 3 of them, but 2 is just fine for me. So what does he do? His activate main is once per turn. You can choose this card or any of your other battle cards, put them to rest mode, and you get a marker. His -1 is your opponent can't attack with battle cards that are greater than their energy cost for the duration of their turn. Pretty good defense, but I never use it for that effect. His -3 is what I always use him for. His -3 is activate main, choose up to 1 of your opponent's energy, tap it, and then this card gains 5K, double strike, and dual attack. This guy is a really good way to end game. If you have, you know, 2 Cauliflas on board and then you have a Kale on board, and you have a Kefla in your hand, and you have this guy on board, I mean, you're looking at like 7 swings all right there. And so this guy is honestly amazing. So what I usually do is I just tap 3 energy to bring him out on the turn 4 usually. Tap 3 energy to bring him out, so he's got 3 markers. I use his activate main to put Champa and Vados to rest mode, just because you don't really need to use them for anything. I mean, they're on the board and it's fine. They're not going to get killed or anything like that. So I would just put Champa and Vados to rest mode. He's at 4 markers, do his -3, tap an energy. Now he's dual attack, double strike. And your opponent's probably tapped out at that point because Khalifa also taps an energy. He tapped an energy. I mean, you're able to just tap your opponent out and then go in for the kill. That's exactly what I did against the baby player. I literally just tapped all his energy, and then I had this guy on board, 2 Khalifas, a Kale. I brought out Kefla right after that just to keep swinging. I mean, really, really strong combo. And then plus, because all your Universe 6 cards are 10Ks, you have really high combo power in this deck. So very, very good unison. I think he's very slept on. I think he's the recommended unison for this deck, in my opinion. Next, we got some support cards, some good blue-yellow stuff. Zamasu Super Combo, obviously to help you rival in Champa and Beerus. You really want to play them. A 2-2 split for the Krillin Super Combo from this new set, I think would be a good idea. I haven't tested it yet, but I think it's worth testing and seeing if it's a good play. You will obviously be at 4 life, and as long as you keep all your energy yellow, even if you charge multicolor, as long as you just keep it yellow, you should be fine, and you'll be able to play the Krillin. But I like the Zamasu Super Combo a lot, being able to just put something to rest mode. You know, when I was playing against Sin Shenron, I was able to like just tap their blocker with the Zamasu Super Combo, and then you know, deal more damage that way. Unfortunately, obviously, I wasn't able to push for game, but I was able to, you know, get around his blockers as best as I could. Then for Beerus check lands, obviously, there was actually a match where I did tap 2 to play him to draw a card, and then swing with them after that because I just wanted more bodies on the board. But yeah, obviously just use it for check land. That's pretty much it. 2 Champa super combos, double strikes. Giving Kale double strike is really nice in this deck. You do have a few other cards you can play. You can give your leader double strike, whatever the case may be. You just kind of push for that extra damage. You can give, giving the Kefla double strike is really nice as well. You know, because she's that dual attack 19K, give her that double strike. So really, really nice. We're playing 2 hit rapid movements. They're searchable off of Kefla. And you, like I said, you really want to get Champa and Vados out as early as possible. So, like I said, they're searchable off of Khalifa, sorry. So you really want to get Champa and Vados out as early as possible. So having the hit in your hand or there's a Zamasu Super Combo in your hand just makes it super easy. Hit says that whenever you have a multicolor card in your energy, his combo cost is reduced by 1. So he's just a free 5K, you can just combo with him. So you have Zamasu Super Combo and you have the hit. You have 6 ways to combo in order to get into Champa and Vados without losing too many cards from your hand, which is the goal. So that's why I'm playing 2 hit. Speaking of hit, 2 Goku hit. Universe 6 card, they're searchable. They're a free 10K if you have Champa and Vados on the board, and if you play them, they're a 19K dual attack pretty much, and then they also have blockers, so really, really strong. No reason not to play them. 2 Bojack, same deal, just a 20K blocker, put them in a rest mode. He's not U6 obviously, so he's not a free 10K, but if you're playing blue yellow, might as well play Bojack. No reason not to. And then lastly but not least, 2 Grade 8 Bardock Raiders Warcry. I was running this at 3 before. I definitely wouldn't do 4. He's gonna clog up your hand because he's at 2 energy to tap. Really only 2 is okay. If you see him, you see him, and if you play him, you play him. He's very good, don't get me wrong, but this deck is, like I said, it's a turn 4 type of kill, so your energy is a little important once you get your board set up, and tapping 2 for the Bardock should really only be what you will do if you don't have like the Vegeta Unison in your hand. If you don't have Vegeta Unison in your hand, then feel free to tap 2 for the Bardock and play him and get that draw and get that 20 double strike. But you're better off playing the Vegeta Unison on that turn 4 instead, just because you're going to get more value off of him. But don't get me wrong, Bardock is definitely a really good card, so definitely at 2 at least. All right, so that is it for the deck profile, guys. It's a very easy, very straightforward deck. Not much to go on here. Like I said, I did really well with it. It's very aggro, it's very strong. And, aggro wins locals. So if you really want to just kind of go to your locals and just crush it, very, very strong deck. Very cheap as well. It's only like maybe, I want to say about like $60 to get the whole thing built. The Khalifas were kind of hard to come by because they're a little short right now, but very, very strong deck. I'm probably gonna end up maining this for the rest of this set, just because I've had really good luck with it. I've had really good experience with it. You know, just killing your opponent as early as possible kind of prevents them from getting, prevents them from getting their plays off. The side deck for this deck is also really good. Champa the Trickster is a searchable card in this deck. I'm not running him in the main because you don't really need him in the main, but you know, Champa the Trickster is a fantastic card in the side deck. Frost Deadly Poison is fantastic in the side deck. So yeah, side deck potential is really strong as well. So yeah, that's it for the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, what you guys want to see next. And then, like I said, I'll be working on getting out gameplay videos pretty soon. All right, catch you guys next time. Peace.